addition. Suppose that is a point, and now we all know vector. How can you represent it? So we'll put it to some scale. The magnitude is to put to some scale on the paper. Otherwise, there is a magnitude which will deal the parallelogram theorem. But graphically, addition and subtraction of vector are done by two rules that are called triangle and polygon rule. Triangle rule and polygon rule. Polygon rule for more than two vectors. Polygon, very interesting because this will go, you will find it everywhere, particularly in electrostat, electric field this is used, or for a gravitational also, where there are more than two forces, more than two fields. So this is for more than two vectors or two. Polygon is called, triangle rule is up to two. Both are there. You can get both of them. So in graphical, this is called graphical. So graphical, you have to represent a vector, and you are given a vector of certain magnitude. Put some scale. Suppose one division in graph. On a graphical scale, you put one division equal to some 4 Newton. Suppose there is a force. So you will write one division equal to some 10 Newton or 4 Newton. Seeing the magnitude of the two vectors, we will put a convenient division and then we will plot it. So we will get a scale length. Yeah, 1 centimeter equal to 4 Newton, you will say. So we will plot it like this. So if it is 8 Newton, then it is 2 centimeter, and at an angle. So you put some angle also. So if this is vector A, so now I am writing here. So this is graphical way, because parallelogram theorem is what mathematically you can express, and mathematically you will say is parallelogram, law of parallelogram, parallelogram rule, parallelogram theorem, which you all know. We'll deal it later, we will derive it also, we'll know. So graphically what is that? So now this is the polygon and triangle rule we will discuss. This is a very important. Polygon rule is most important because people get confused getting this. So graphically, suppose graphically you are getting that addition. So two vectors are there. So suppose this is vector A, we have plotted it because we have put a scale, and on graph we have plotted this. So and suppose a vector B, like this is the case. These are two vectors, and this is the angle. So we will extend this. We have already dealt with. So this becomes A and this becomes B, and this is the angle between vectors. So what we will do in addition, the concept of head to tail for both graphical, that you draw another vector. This is tail, this is head. So from this, the next vector you will, from this tail to head, like this is a vector from tail to head. So you will put another one from this head. I am telling you, head to tail is this head and this tail, and this will be the resultant. If you plot it, resultant, you can say, you can graphically measure, scale is there, so you can measure this, and this is the direction. On the graph, this angle you will get. So this is, say, vector B. So from tail to head, and if there are more, this is for triangle I am saying. For subtraction part, what we will do, this vector is B, and say this is A plus B. So this is resultant of A plus B. Of course, we have already dealt with unit vector. So mod R will be square root A square plus B square. This is mod R. And unit vector R will be divided by R divided by mod R. So you can get both. And this angle, if you get the direction in your graph, this can be calculated. You drop this projection and then you can calculate from this to this tan alpha. So tan theta you can get. So this angle you can also measure or get from graph also. For subtraction portion, what you will do is A minus B if you write, and this can be written as A plus minus B, but that is the catch. So you will reverse the, vector, this is B, then unequal vector, this is minus B, so you will just put from this to this, and then this. So of course a minus b will be less than. So what is this? This is the from this point to this point. So now again the resultant will be from this to this. So what? From tail to head, and the resultant is from this tail to this head. So this is called tail to head, you can say. Resultant will be from tail to head. And for a subtraction also the same thing. And so you'll get this, and angle will also again be this. So this is a very similar type of. So this you can calculate. So graphically you can calculate, or if suppose there are more than two vectors. Then suppose there is a practical example, and then we'll go to what is that practical example? I am drawing a figure. So elaborating on this, I've drawn, I've written there plus q, minus q, plus q. So I was not knowing the overall picture, but say these are the forces. Magnitude of forces, say F1 is some 12 Newton, and then in polygon you know that these angles are always 60 degree from this. So F2 is suppose is different, some 18 Newton, and like this, or E1 is some E is equal to what, volt per meter, so something volt per meter I'm saying, because V equal to Eg, you know, potential. So yeah, E equal to F by Q, so you can say Newton per coulomb also, Newton per coulomb. So if these are different, suppose, because there I have written plus q minus q, I am getting a generalized expression, then you have again to put those two scales and plot it on the graph from F1 to F2 or like this. So the resultant again will from tail to head with an angle, we know in regular polygon, and then comes like this. So this is the resultant. So if in a closed curve, from tail to head, the last vector is the resultant, and this is the direction again. You can calculate it from tan alpha, or from graph you can always get. So if suppose there is a question, and if this is a closed curve and this is like this, and F6. So now the another picture I am drawing, that first was open, and now this is like there's a closed curve and the vectors are there. So this is written a vector A, this is written a vector, now I am not writing, this is written a vector C, this is written a vector D, this is written something, I don't know the angle and all, and this is vector F, and this is the diagram they have drawn. This is a graphical representation of vectors. And now there is a question, what is the resultant? Resultant will be 0, because if this is a closed curve, if for a particular point or if a particular position, all the vectors drawn as following polygon rule, and not letting it a hexagon or pentagon or something, maybe 4, maybe 6, maybe 3 also, A, B, C also you can say, 3 vectors. So also A, B and C. So the resultant is 0. You can always say A plus B plus C is 0. There no need of magnitude also, direction also. So for a closed curve, the golden rule is, if this type of question you get in exams, that is a graphical diagram of given vectors, and you are getting, and if it is, suppose there are 5 vectors only, then this will be the resultant, that this will have a resultant. Of course in that you don't have to calculate the resultant, but the choices will be whether there is a resultant, whether resultant is 0, whether the system is in equilibrium. Suppose we all know that if resultant of forces is 0, then system is in equilibrium. Suppose these are forces. So if this is like that, 5 forces are acting on a particle. Okay, these are represented by these vectors, and then they'll say what is the resultant, whether the system is in equilibrium. So these type of questions. So this is very interesting, because you may have different questions and people get confused. So now the next thing is parallelogram theorem. I will briefly deal, and then resolution, and then I will in this lecture the remaining portion of position vector, displacement vector, and multiplication of vector will be dealt in next lecture. So what we are left with, parallelogram. Now we want to get it mathematically. rather than graphically. So this is vector A and this is vector B, and we want either to add. Then again you know this is the angle. So this is the angle. Suppose now we have gone this and this is the angle. Now this is the resultant. Okay. So we'll see this. This is the angle. This is obtuse. This is acute. There will be acute angle. So this is that acute angle theta. This is the angle between vector. We have already explained, because two vectors here these are like this. So of course this will be angle is same. So this is the angle. So what we'll do? We'll use that what theorem? Pythagoras theorem. So this is vector B. Resolution you all know. For a brief resolution, that cosine of this. So resolution is I will deal it, and then we go to a generalized expression. This is R, and this is Cartesian coordinate system x and y, and this is angle. So, and this is projection. So what is the resoluted portion? This is the projection of this vector on x-axis will be its Rx component, x component, and will be y component. You project it like this. This is the, now there is a light, and I project this. So this is this. So this much is the projection is the x component. So you can always say from a trigonometric ratio, cosine theta equal to Rx by R. So Rx, so resolution is, I'll deal again in letter and direction cosine. And these are the angle. So this will make theta 90 minus theta. So these are the direction cosine also. So vector R has two components, Rx and Ry, if it is in planar system. So if it is in xy plane, xz plane, yz plane, and if it is xyz plane, then we'll deal later. I finish this. So this will become b cos theta, and this will become b sin theta, and this is R. So what will be R square? R square equal to a plus b cos theta. I will not go into detail because this is very well known. I just repeat, and then you will go at what? Finally, you will go at square root. So addition and subtraction, there is a minus sign difference, because and for this is for addition, and if it is minus, so b will become minus b. So this will become plus minus, I can say, resultant for both addition oblique subtraction. So this is plus minus because b will become minus b if it is subtraction. And then so this is the resolution basically in a planar dimension, and this is resultant. So mathematically and without in graphically going, you can get these, and direction will be this. So tan alpha you can get, tan alpha will be b sin theta by a plus b cos theta, because the vectors have magnitude and direction. That sums up. And now the last top point of this lecture, which I am going to deal, and I'll tell all of you to go through and solve many problems and come up with problem and provide me some questions so I can solve it in the next lecture. And that's why I am leaving this portion. I tried to be very innovative, not going by book, because book it is very simple. Now what is important is, suppose we all know we started with x, y, z. Cartesian is three-dimensional. Everything is three-dimensional, because in actual conditions, everything is in space. So a vector, I've already dealt with I, j, k, which I'll use here. These are unit vectors along x, I, j. So this is I, this is j, and this is k. So if there is a vector R, then this can be represented by, of course, Rxi plus Ryj. This is a representation, generalized representation. Notation was there for an individual and Rz. What is Rx? Rx is x component of R, similar ditto for y and ditto for z. So a vector, a general vector quantity, maybe it a force, maybe it is a torque, maybe it's a moment, anything you say, can may have these all three components in a particular situation, in real life situation like in the machines, or something like two components, maybe xy plane, maybe yz plane, maybe xz. So you can put them 0 and get it. So magnitude again in this case will be square root. This is generalized case. Rx square plus IR square plus RZ. And now the direction. What will be direction? Here comes the most important one, that is called direction cosine. We have already seen that if there is a vector, suppose R, and we have plotted it on the graph from this to this is the resultant, this is Rx, this is Ry, and this is Rz, which you have dealt, and the magnitude is. You have to imagine this thing because this is xy plane, this is yz plane, and this is xz plane. So in this plane, now the vector is somewhere here. So there are angles between this, and there is angle between vector from this axis also. So that is called direction cosine. Very important topic. Direction cosine, because cosine is based by hypotenuse. So what will be the angle of R with Rx or x-axis? So that will be, these are represented by alpha, beta and gamma. And the cosine value, as we have already dealt resolution, cosine component of R and Rx, projected it, because this is in space, suppose this is like this. And you are seeing the shadow, if you are seeing. So now this is projection, you are seeing the shadow. This is now coinciding, see this. Okay, so if you project, and this is a space, this is a vector which is like this in space. So this projection on xy plane is like this in the plane of the board. And ditto for if I put this is same, and if some light is there, so there will be a projection on this plane also. So these are the cos alpha. So cos alpha will be Rx by R, and alpha will be inverse. Cos beta will be Ry by R, and ditto for cos gamma will be Rz by R, and the inverse alpha will be inverse of this. This is all for this topic. Read it and enjoy it and ask questions. If you have any questions from any exam, because these type of questions occur, or if not, this will be used for you everywhere, in force, moments, in mechanics, in electrostat, in magnetic field. You have that dot, cross and all the things, and addition and subtraction. Thank you.